Hi, this is Val Hart, the real Dr. Doolittle, and today I'm talking with June Cotner. She's the author of 27 books, including the best-selling Graces, Bedside Prayers, and Dog Blessings. Her books altogether have sold nearly 1 million copies, and her newest book is Say a Little Prayer, a Journal, which was published by Chronicle Books. June's latest love and avocation is giving presentations on adopting prisoner-trained shelter dogs. In May 2011, she adopted Indy, a chocolate lab Doberman mix, a Labradobie, from the Freedom Tales program at Stafford Creek Correction Center in Aberdeen, Washington. And June works with Indy daily to build on the wonderful obedience skills that he mastered in the program, and I know she has some wonderful stories to tell us about Indy. She's also a graduate of the University of California at Berkeley and is the mother of 2 grown children. She lives in, how do you say this, June? Poulsbo?
I live in Poulsbo.
Poulsbo, Washington, with her husband and her critters. She's into yoga, hiking, and playing with grandchildren, and her website is www.junecotner.com. That's JUNECOTNER.com. Welcome to the show, June.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate being on your show, and I just look forward to it.
I'm delighted, and I can't wait to hear how you came up with the book Dog Blessings. We're going to talk about that first, and then let's finish up talking about Freedom Tales and the prison program. I think that's fascinating.
Okay.
So
good.
Yeah. So, why did you write Dog Blessings? So tell us about this. And by the way, everyone, it's a beautiful book, absolutely beautiful. It's poems, prose, and prayers celebrating our relationship with dogs. So why did you write this, June?
I've made a career of doing anthologies that are collections of prayers, poems, and prose, and I wanted to always do one related to dogs. And so I talked with my agent, and she actually talked with a publisher, New World Library, who was really interested. And the reason I wanted to do it is I really wanted to honor and celebrate the ways in which our dog companions bless our lives. I just regard dogs as so important in my life, and I've always had a dog, and the brief times that I have not had a dog, such as when my 2 senior dogs recently passed on, it just felt like my life wasn't complete without a dog in it.
Yeah, I totally understand that. You know, and I know you've probably had a lot of dogs in your life.
I have, yes.
Yeah. So I know dogs are a big part of your inspiration. Can you tell us more about your puppies?
Yeah, I sure can. Indy came from the Freedom Tales program, and as you mentioned, which is in Aberdeen, Washington. And I found, after our 2 dogs passed, I would start going on Pet Finder and putting in Labrador Retriever, and then through doing that, I came across there was a link over to the Freedom Tales program, and I thought this sounds just wonderful. So my husband and I had the opportunity to go over there and actually see the dogs in training. And so my husband wanted a little bit larger dog. I was kind of leaning toward a small one, but we ended up getting Indy, and he's now 1.5 years old, and he weighs 65 pounds.
Oh boy, that's a good sized puppy.
He is.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so I think you said that the prisoners train for over 2 months.
Yes.
What's his background? How did they come up with it with Indy? And
yeah, it's very interesting. A woman, Deb Blake Thomas, volunteers all of her time as a trainer, and after each 2-month segment of training, she goes around to animal shelters within a 100-mile radius, looking for dogs that she thinks would really be good in the program. She also looks for dogs that are kennel stressed, and she thinks, of course, they need to get out of the shelter, and that she knows that they would do a lot better. And so she just has kind of an intuitive feel, because that she brings in 16 dogs every session, and at the end of 2 months, they're all adopted.
Wow.
And these are normally dogs who would have been put down. And so not only, of course, is she saving lives, the prisoners are saving lives. It brings a real sense of calm to the prison. I had the opportunity to talk with 2 of the inmates, and if we have time, to talk about that later on, there are just really some moving stories that they told me.
Wow. Oh, I'm in love with this program. It just sounds fabulous.
It is.
Yeah. I know they have a website of their own. Let's go ahead and give that to folks now if they want to go look that up while we're talking about it. And it is freedomtails.net. So FreedomTails, like a doggy tail, .net. So if our listener wants to check that out, they can go there. And we will get back to that later because it's completely fascinating. I love it. Yeah. So your book was published in October, the same month of St. Francis of Assisi's annual feast day celebration. I love that.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Can you tell us about the blessing of the animals that happens in early October?
Yeah, many churches do a blessing of the animal service. And 1 year, and I can't remember, it was probably about 5 or 6 years ago, I happened to be in New York at the time they were doing the blessing of the animal service at the Cathedral Church of St. John the Divine, and it was just really one of the best services because people brought all their animals, whether, they would bring llamas and eagles and snakes, in addition to cats and dogs and birds.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know how they coordinated exactly, but they had they had a camel come in, they had an elephant come in.
Whoa.
And I heard that with the elephant that they started a couple miles out and walked through New York City to get to the Cathedral Church.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was just amazing. There were so many calm cats also in the audience.
That. You would think, yeah, that they'd be going insane.
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
yes.
That's fabulous. Wow, I have such an image of that. And then in the cathedrals, in the church, they're actually in the church. And by the way, everyone, that's in New York City, in New York. And then all these amazing animals. What a wonderful celebration of the contribution that animals make in our lives and to the planet.
Yeah.
And that we can give back by blessing them and feeling gratitude for them and, and all of that. I think it's just so amazing.
It really is. It really is.
Wow. So let's talk about your book, Dog Blessings. So I love this book. It is absolutely beautiful. And it's very, very sweet. Tell us a bit about some of the themes in the book and a bit more about it.
Yes. I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear the last question.
Oh, let's talk about some of the themes of the book of Dog Blessings.
Yes. Okay. Well, I wanted to try and capture everything. When I have a new project, I send out a call for submissions to my 700 contributors. And at that point, I don't quite have all the chapters figured out. I like to see what comes in. And then I start seeing certain poems and prayers that kind of work with the same theme. And then, so I really wanted to find themes that reflected every phase of a dog's life, from the fun of watching a zesty young puppy at play. And then there are some pieces that move me so deeply about the utmost compassion we have in caring for an elderly dog. And so I really wanted to find pieces that show how dogs bless our lives in so many ways, from their loyalty and faithfulness, how they help even raise our kids, and then how we constantly seem like we're always laughing over their many quirks, too.
Yeah. I'll bet you've had some fun stories about quirky dogs.
Yes, I have. I have. I remember when I mentioned that the 2 senior dogs passed, you just reflect back on the times they were puppies. And one friend came over and took a look at our yard, and he says, "You don't have dogs. You have gophers and dog suits."
Gophers and dog suits.
I thought that was so cute because he did have quite a few holes.
Oh boy, yes, I could tell they're one of their favorite activities.
Yes.
Somebody told them they could dig to China. Remember, did you do that when you were a kid? Oh.
Well, yeah, I did. I was kind of a tomboy, so I did do a lot of adventuresome things, I think.
Mm-hmm. Me too. Oh boy. So let's talk about how readers can use your books, and I actually would love for you to do a reading from your book.
Oh, I would love to do that. There are a lot. It turns out that actually, even though the chapter on partings, there's just one chapter on partings, a lot of people end up buying the book to honor a dog who has recently passed. And so there's a really nice section on partings and even pieces that you can use for memorial services. But one poem I really like a lot is one called Lessons from Joanne, Hurrah, Stacy, and this is it. Okay. If I greeted everyone happily instead of eyeing with distrust, if I didn't pass judgment but accepted all, if I listened intently with understanding in my eyes, if I brought comfort all the time, no matter what, if I loved unconditionally without reservation, if I lived life more simply instead of worrying so much, if I played tirelessly and didn't work so hard, if I made people smile just by my presence in the room, if I experienced true joy at the little things in life, then I'd be the perfect friend, just like my dog.
Oh, God, I love that.
Yeah, I do too.
Oh, think what better people we would be if we were dogs.
I know.
When I grow up, I want to be a dog. I think.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. And boy, that really said it, didn't it? Just beautiful. Yes. Wow. Yeah, there's another wonderful passage in here. It's from Dr. Bernie Siegel.
Yes.
The author of Love, Medicine, and Miracles. Do you want to share that one with us?
Sure, I would love to.
Okay.
Yeah, and so his piece, he likes to talk about dogs as spiritual messengers. Mm-hmm. And his piece, I think, is really profound. And here it is. I believe all creatures are God's masterpieces, but I also think most members of the human race could use some spiritual touching up by the artist. Dogs definitely play a part as spiritual messengers to help with that touch-up. Dogs are healers. They are to enlighten. They seem to have figured out how to live beautifully so much better than we humans have. While we struggle to figure out why we were put here on earth, all a dog wants is to love and be loved. A powerful lesson for us all.
Oh, that is brilliantly put. And that's the truth. They are healers. They are teachers. They're here to open our hearts, to touch us, to inspire us, to comfort us, and to help us share love, to really be in touch with love.
Yes.
Oh, beautiful put. Oh, I love this. So, can you tell us a funny story about anything that's happened?
Well, probably, I've got Indy is generally a very calm dog, but he absolutely adores my grandchildren.
Oh.
And so he just has so much enthusiasm when they come over. Excuse me. And then, I'm pretty good at getting him, even with being so enthusiastic, to get him to sit and wait when they come in. Mm-hmm. And so it was really cute. One day when they came over, they decided to go around to the back, and Indy was still in the house. Mm-hmm. And he was so excited that there was just like a little opening of, 18 inches by 18 inches. Mm-mm. He just blasted through our dining room window, threw out the screen.
Oh, my God.
Because he just wanted to play with him so much.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. And then another one is that we had the opportunity to be on 2 TV shows. to talk about the Freedom Tales program. And on the first show, he was very calm, which I expected. And then on the second show in Seattle on New Day Northwest, just as we were ready to go on stage, the production assistant asked me, she said, "Will he bark at all?" And I said, "Oh, no, he's a very calm dog."
Uh-oh.
Well, my grandchildren were in the audience, and he figured out that very, very quickly. And he just actually he's really normally a quiet dog, but he just started yelping and the host handled it so well. She said, "When you hear barking, you know that's good news. It means we have a dog here." And
a dog in the house.
Yes, right. So.
I love that, and I could just tell, he's in there, he's doing his thing, and all of a sudden, my favorite people are here. Oh my God! And he could hardly contain himself.
Oh, he really was so excited.
Favorite kids. Oh my God!
And then that was the one I was really reluctant to send the clip to friends. The first one was very calm. I sent it to all my friends, and then so people started asking me about it. And I said, "Oh, okay, I'll send it to you," because I was feeling embarrassed. And they said, "Oh, no, that is funny, and it's so natural, and it's so human."
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh, that's great. I love it. Well, thanks so much for sharing that. And everyone, Dog Blessings really is a lovely, lovely book. You might want to check that out. It's very, very touching. And like you said, you can use it for so many different things. From bringing in new dogs to blessing a new animal, all the way through to the partings, for a memorial service or, as a way to honor a life well lived. So, okay, June, let's switch gears.
Okay.
Let's, and by the way, your website, let's give them that one more time. It's JuneCotner.com, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Say JuneCotner.com. Okay, now let's talk about Freedom Tales. So Freedom Tales is the program we spoke about a moment ago. It's a Stafford Creek Corrections Center prison program that takes, I'm going to let you tell us. Tell us about this program and a little more about that.
Yes, it started, it was actually the first program of its kind in Washington State. There had been some other programs throughout the country, and we actually do have another program where they train service dogs. But in this case, this program is where they take dogs who would normally be euthanized, and they figure by teaching them good commands that it makes the dogs much more adoptable. And so they first started off, the program has been running for about 2.5 years, and they first started off with 8 dogs in one housing unit.
Wow.
It was so successful that they now have 16 dogs, and when the dogs first come into the program, they wear they wear orange scarves, which means that the dog is new, and even though there are 16 dogs, teamed with 16 prisoners, and they also have backup walkers, that the other prisoners know that they aren't supposed to, at that point, touch the dog until they know how the dogs are doing. And then they graduate to a yellow scarf when they figured out the dog's temperament. It means the other prisoners can ask for permission to pet the dog. And then, so that means there's also a lot of interaction going throughout the prison. And then finally they wear a green scarf when they're ready for graduation, and it means they're ready to go. And so there are just a number of great things about the program. They when they come out of the program, they know quite a few commands. They know sit, and then sit, stay, and then down stay, and stand, and then stand, stay. They can do heel, return to heel, and leave it. And I particularly love the command leave it. We had never used that with our other dogs. I don't know. It just never, I guess, occurred to me. But it is just a really handy command. One of the trainers mentioned that say if one of your prescription pills should go on the ground and you don't want the dog to get it, or if you have a little tiny battery that falls, already saying leave it has really been beneficial for Indy because he really honors that.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I have to tell you a really funny story.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I was teaching Einstein, my not-so-miniature schnauzer.
Okay. Okay.
He was supposed to be about 15 pounds, and he topped out at around 28. So.
Oh, my gosh.
I know. I got everything for a up to 20-pound dog when I first got him as a puppy, and he outgrew it all within about 4 months. So.
Oh, my gosh.
Woohoo! Anyway, my puppy, I was teaching him the leave it command, which I highly, highly encourage everyone to do for their dogs. And he really had it down. I mean, I could leave something really tasty, right there for him that he would normally just go nuts for.
Right.
And tell him to leave it, and he wouldn't touch it, until I gave him permission. And, or told him okay. And so I was thinking, this would be fun to do a video of so I could share it with, my people. And so I got the camera and I'm doing the thing, and there's the treat right there on the edge of the couch, and I told him to leave it, and we're doing the la 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 la, doing the wait and see, what's he going to do thing. And we're doing so good, and all of a sudden he darted in, snatched it, and took off.
Isn't that funny?
I had to, the video was scrapped. I was like, oh crap.
Oh, that is so funny.
I guess we have a little more work to do.
That's so cute.
He was doing really good, and then he was like, I think I've waited long enough. Okay, it's mine.
Yeah.
Mine. Okay, and I can run faster than you. So, Anyway, but the leave it command is so critically important because, I use it for leave it, like if he sees a cat, and he loves cats, wants to play with them, but if I tell him leave it, then he knows to walk on.
Right.
Or if he finds something that smells tasty that he would like to eat when we're out walking and I can't get to him in time, I say leave it, and he goes, oh, okay, and he leaves it. So there's so many things you can use that command for.
Right, and then
it saves your life.
Yeah, and then when Indy came out of the program, it turned out he was just so attractive to motorcyclists and skateboarders.
Oh, yeah.
And to the point where he was just way too powerful for me. And so actually the trainer suggested that I take a water bottle and just squirt him a little.
Oh,
and he hates it. So now it works out so well. I just have the water bottle. I don't even have to use it. But when we see a skateboarder or a motorcyclist, he's able to sit. I'll say leave it, and he doesn't lunge anymore.
That's great.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's good.
Yes, and for me too, with added training, I found that Cesar Millan shows The Dog Whisperer.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just excellent. Because initially I thought, well, boy, I've got this really large dog to continue training, and I thought that was a challenge. But when you watch The Dog Whisperer, there's problems with a lot of very small dogs, and they can be quite aggressive at times. And I it's just so helpful to have his techniques that they've really have helped me a lot. Yeah,
as he says, it's he can rehab the dog. The dog's not the problem. It's training the people.
Right. Right.
To give proper signals and commands and to reward what we really want.
Yes.
And to be clear in our request.
Yes.
To create boundaries and stability and all of that important stuff. And that's really the secret to working with dogs and any animal, and for living a good life, because that translates to all of our relationships, whether we're two-legged or four.
Right, right. So,
yeah. In fact, it seems to me I'd like to hear a little more about the inmates. So how does it change them, or does it, to work with dogs?
Yeah, I really appreciate the opportunity where they let me interview two of the inmates, and one was a fellow who'd been in the program since the beginning, and they usually like to take one dog in who has the possibility to be trained as a special needs dog to, say, help a person with multiple sclerosis. That would be one example.
Wow.
And this, as the fellow was talking to me about the training, he just started tearing up, because actually when the dog got out of prison and worked with the person with MS, the person fell down and the dog knew exactly what to do. Wow. And so these inmates know they're making a big difference in people's lives. And then another fellow who was ready to release in just a week after being in prison for 20 years, he said that he really regarded himself as antisocial up until he became involved in the dog program.
Wow.
And he said he basically would be forced to interact with others because, as I mentioned, the inmates have to ask for permission to pet. Yeah. And then he was also encouraged to bring his dog around to supervisors of the prison, to guards, and so there's a lot of interaction there. And then after he got out of prison, he believes in the program so much that he was willing to go on a TV show with us in Portland, Oregon. Wow. And talked about the profound difference the dog has made for him. And I thought that was really remarkable, because it isn't, he isn't necessarily being written up in a newspaper article or, on the radio, but actually on television where people see who he is. And he just said, that he has brought so many skills from what he's learned in the program to the outside world, and what a difference it has made in his life. Wow.
Oh, that's so touching.
I completely agree, yes.
Yeah. Wow. It makes sense to me. When we grow up so isolated and angry or whatever, and we have trouble, it's our dogs that kind of help us come back to center.
Yes.
Because they need us to be present. They need us to, it's like being with your dog. What else? You can't be scattered very much if you're actually giving your heart, and your attention to your dog, and just simply enjoying their presence and being with them.
Yes, yes.
Like they touch our heart. They help us heal, like we said earlier.
Yes, yes.
I love that. Oh, goodness. All right. Well, I'm not sure what else to say. I think we've said it all. It feels really, really sweet. So let's see. We've got your website, JuneCotner.com, and we've got the FreedomTales.net program. If anyone wants to check those out, you certainly can. Is there anything else that you'd like to leave us with today, June?
Well, probably just one idea is that in the past sometimes we've had full breed dogs in addition to mixed breed dogs, and we there are I think there are 4 to 6 million dogs and cats who can be put down, and I would just like to encourage people just to look at considering a mixed breed dog. I don't know. It's a way to save dogs who normally be euthanized, and it was actually my sister and my daughter who encouraged me to consider adopting a mixed breed dog, and I'm just really so grateful that we did. I just now can't imagine my life without Indy in it.
Yes, yeah, they're quite special.
Yeah,
very, very special beings. So yeah. All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much, June, for sharing your heart and your love.
Oh, it's been delightful talking with you.
I'm delighted at what you're doing, and I know you reach a lot of people, and you can make such a difference and are making such a difference.
Oh, thank you.
For us and our furry fur kids. So, thanks.
Oh, well, thank you.
All right. Well, we'll catch up with you later and let us know when you've got more stuff coming out. All right?
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Jude.
Thank you very much, Val.
Sure. Bye.
Bye-bye.